Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Welcome to the healing room on this lovely Monday evening. Happy Monday. Come on in. Welcome, welcome. So good to see you all. Love seeing you every Monday night. And if you're catching the replay, then yay you. Tonight's topic, I am really excited about. But you know what? I think I'm excited about every topic. And I think it's because every topic touches my heart because it speaks to my experience. And I am so thankful that I have had 35 years of experience with a narcissist, so I could be here with you today. Yay me. Come on in, everybody. On top of my 35 years of being married and dating a narcissist, I am also a licensed therapist and a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. I was very close to a subject of said narcissist for quite a while. And I'm so happy to now flipping the script of my own into how to become better versions of ourselves, the best versions of ourselves. That's why we're here. So tonight is Monday night, the healing room. And our topic tonight is, why is leaving a narcissist so hard? Like, thanks to social media, we're gaining all of this knowledge. We're gaining all of this information. We're like sponges now. We're just soaking it all in. All this information that I wish I had when I was in a relationship and married to a narcissist. Wish I knew what I was experiencing. Now we have all this information. You would think, and our friends and family would think, why don't we just leave? If it's that bad, just leave. Just leave. How many of you have heard that? If you have, drop a heart in the chat, in the comments, drop a thumbs up. How many of you, if you are in or have been in a relationship with a narcissist, have been told if you tried to vent and share with friends and family, you need to leave him or her? Just leave. Well, that sounds great. But it also means that though they love us dearly, friends and family love us, and they really only want us to be happy. And naturally, we would be happier in their eyes if we were not in this relationship or had not been in this relationship with a narcissist. But easier said than done. We instead feel stuck. So even when I left the first time, when I realized I'm not happy, I don't deserve this, I deserve better, I'm leaving. And finally, this is 30 years later, mind you, 29 years at this point, finally left after 3 months of being gone, got my own place, and I'm like, oh, I am so independent. We're separated at this point. I feel so independent. Everything around me is mine. 3 months later, I'm like this. Yeah, this is nice. Yeah. I go to work, come home, go to bed. Go to work, come home, go to bed. What's my purpose? Like, at least with the narcissist, I knew what to expect. You know, there were some good times that I could look forward to, which we call the breadcrumbs. But this freedom thing is lonely. It's boring. Why did I want this again? So let me tell you tonight what that's all about that's going on in our head. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. All right. So why did I feel stuck if I already left? I should have felt like invigorated. I should have felt like, woohoo, which I did for a minute. But why didn't that last? Why didn't I just bask and the glory of freedom and independence and finally feeling like, I'm safe and I can be happy. That didn't happen as soon as I left. Or let me take that back. It didn't last. It did not last. That's what we're talking about tonight. Easier said than done to leave the narcissist. Even when you know that they are unhealthy, that it's a narcissistic, that it's an abusive relationship, that it's a toxic relationship, even if you don't want to subscribe to the term abuse yet, which I didn't until year 29, so I get it. What do we do? What do we do with all this information? Because the more we are aware of what we're experiencing, the closer we get to the question, now what do I do with this? And the answer to that is a really, really tough decision. And for me, it was about this means to leave the narcissist, to leave this marriage and family that I've worked so hard on and put everything into. To leave it means I have to give up my vision of myself and where I thought I would be in life. Give up my dream of being happily married with children. The image that I thought that I created for myself of who I was. I have to give all that up. Easier said than done. That's our topic tonight. Come on in. Thank you for your comment after feeling, a feeling of loss of purpose because they had commandeered, I like that word, that sense of purpose for themselves. Love that. That's so good. That's so good. Thank you for sharing that. That is exactly why it's so hard. Feeling a loss of purpose. And yet people on the outside who don't have this experience, and I think I've mentioned this before in a previous healing room topic, I had interviewed my younger brother, who's very fond of my ex and still is to this day. And he said, I just assumed if you weren't happy, you would leave. I just assumed if he, wasn't making you happy, you would leave. And as long as he wasn't putting his hands on you, you must have been all right. That's what the outside, anyone outside of our four emotional walls, that's what their perception is. That's what we're up against. So the people who are telling us to leave, or even us telling ourselves, why am I still here? Why did I stay so long? This is what we're going to talk about tonight. This is why it's so hard. The act of leaving physically, the physical act of leaving is an event. That's the thing. That's the thing we do. It's the last thing we do. And sometimes in my case, we do it a couple times before we get it right. Okay? But that's the last thing we do. But the emotional leaving, that's the process. The emotional leaving is the process. That's the hard part. That's the journey. So technically leaving is just the beginning. And I'm even going to preface that by saying we leave before we leave. I like that. We leave before we leave, right? The mindset change, the shift, the paradigm shift, which is stage 1 of my 5 stages of healing, the peace method that I created based on my own experience and my clinical background, the peace method. Stage 1 is the paradigm shift, shifting from what it's supposed to be to what it is, facing reality. So we have to emotionally leave first. And guess what? That's the hardest part. Now, sometimes we physically leave first, but you can't escape the emotional process, the emotional act of leaving. And this is because the narcissist creates hooks. Narcissistic abuse creates hooks in the form of a trauma bond. And it creates guilt, fear, unfinished conversations in your head, because we're going back and forth constantly. And we're always afraid of not trying everything, including giving them a chance to change. So we always fear, whether it's the children, whether it's giving them a chance, whether it's maybe it's us, all of these things. This is the hook that is created by the narcissist, by narcissistic abusive relationships. So I'm going to keep saying it. Leaving is easier said than done. That's tonight's topic. Leaving is easier said than done. When we as survivors are trying to leave a narcissistic abusive relationship, we are experiencing guilt for leaving. Listen, this is why we are a target for the narcissist, is because we're going to blame ourselves. We're likely to blame ourselves. We're likely to be people pleasers. And so thank you for the comment. The emotional process of ruminating on the relationship after you leave lasts so long. That is so true. Ruminating, because you said something right there. You're going to go back through every inch of your relationship, because now we're looking for, what did I miss? What could I have done differently? What could I have done more of, less of, so on and so. We are going to ruminate. We're going to just sit in all of those what ifs, and that keeps us stuck as well. We fear being alone, particularly if this is a long-term relationship. I met my narcissist when I was 17, married at 22, and married until 51. So that's my whole life, pretty much, in a nutshell. Done. Life came and went. So to leave after 35 years, I'm like, I could do another 30 years. What's the big deal? I could do another 30. I did 30. Look at me. Look at me go. I did 30 years. I could do another stint. Okay. It would have been a stint if I had gone another 30 years, because that would have been me settling. That would have been me being too afraid to face the unknown, face myself. So many things that keep us from leaving emotionally, mentally, before the act even happens. And you can still be out of the house. You can still leave and and still feel trapped. You can leave and still feel trapped. And that's what happened to me when I left. Packed my bags. I'm leaving. And went and got my own place. And I'm like, oh, this is so great. And I still felt trapped. I still felt like this isn't where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to, I was supposed to fix this. I was supposed to make this work. I was supposed to help him, heal him, support him, da-da-da-da. Still felt trapped up here. So you can leave, but it doesn't leave. That's the intentional process of the healing journey. You have to be very intentional. Okay, so signs that you have not left emotionally. Because that's the first step. I want to emphasize that. Signs you haven't left emotionally. So here's your checklist. Pen and paper. Y'all ready? Are you still emotionally attached? Even if you left. And I promise you, even after you leave, the journey of detaching emotionally is long after. Long after. So here's some questions. You replay old arguments in your mind. You go over those conversations, those arguments over and over. Because what are we looking for? We're looking for the truth. We're looking for We're looking for, what did we miss? Was I right? Was I wrong? Did I say it wrong? We're replaying, back to the ruminating that you said earlier. Now we're ruminating over old conversations throughout the whole relationship, trying to catch what we missed. Number 2, you feel compelled to explain yourself to them, even if you're no contact. So now I'm going to put my therapist hat on, and when I'm working with my clients, there are baby steps to detaching from a narcissist. There are baby steps. And so I tell my clients, block them for 1 hour at a time. You don't have to block. Look, no contact, easier said than done. That's the topic of tonight. Easier said than done. Block them for an hour at a time. You don't have to block them forever. This is not a zero-sum game. Take it 1 day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time. Let's be honest. We have to detox from this relationship. I've talked on previous topics that this relationship is like going into withdrawals from a drug that we've been addicted to for however long. Because this relationship is like a drug. Because that's what the trauma bond creates. So when you're weaning yourself off of a drug, if any of you have done that. But guess what? The drug could be smoking. The drug could be alcohol. The drug could be spending. The drug could be whatever. But when you've decided to stop, how many of us go cold turkey? It can be done. Some people do it, but some people don't. Doesn't mean you're weak. It does not mean you're weak. And particularly when it has to do with abuse and complex PTSD. So I always tell my clients, baby steps. Block them for an hour and then unblock them. Relieves the pressure, the feelings that we can't help it. We care too much. We just care too much. So do it in baby steps. But the goal is to protect your emotions. So when you feel compelled to explain yourself to them, to unblock them, to tell them how you feel, that's a sign that you have not emotionally disconnected or left the relationship. Another one is you feel guilty for them being lonely without you. And I'm smiling because that was me. I was like, oh, but who's going to cook him dinner? My mom was like, he is a grown man. He can cook his own dinner. I was like, but I'm so stuck in the caretaking role, in the people-pleasing role, in my need to feel needed. So here I am thinking I probably shouldn't cuss. A grown man isn't capable, but also self-compassion. You were conditioned to believe that. You were conditioned. So there were times that I was in, I'm sorry, I keep getting, okay, hopefully you can still see me and hear me, because I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So put a heart in the chat if you can still hear me and see me. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, fam. Okay, so they condition us to think that that they need us and that they can't live without us. That's the whole part of positioning us to serve them. So one quick example I have is I leave town, meaning leave the state. I leave the state to go visit family. And I get a phone call, 1,000 miles away. I get a phone call. we need some pizza. Can you order us a pizza? I'm like, wait, I'm in a state not the same as where we live. So, man, I don't know how to do all that. I don't know how to do all that. Can you got it on your phone, yo. Can you just order the pizza? The boys are hungry. Man, I don't know what to do. Okay. I got it. Click. It's so easy. I can order the pizza from California and he's in wherever with the kids. Oh, of course. Let me get to that. Whether I can or not, that's not the issue. The problem is that is what I'm expected to do. So, this is the conditioning that we experience, that they need us, that they can't function without us. Now, remember, I'm always going to talk about the 50-50 rule. What part of that is us needing to be needed? What part of that is us needing to be needed? That's the part we have to own. Okay, so when we find ourselves still defending them to others, and how come every one of these bullet points I have to stop and make a daggone confession? Okay, I confess. Nobody could tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me anything, because no matter how bad it was for me, I could not help but to defend him, so much so that they just stopped trying to tell me. They just said, okay, you just we're gonna let you have that. I was very protective, very defensive. But 50-50 rule, if I acknowledged it, then that means, then what? For me. Then what? Now what? That's why denial is so comfy cozy, because I don't have to face me, let alone them, let alone the next steps and where I'm going to live and how much it's going to cost. No, we're going to start right here with me. That's the hard mirror to look in, is ourself. And that's why therapy is so important. And that's why I am devoting every moment of every day of my life to people like me, when I was in it and was too afraid to face myself. 50%, all his, absolutely. And there's a long 50%. But guess what? The other 50% is mine. Why is it so hard to let go? The trauma bond. The trauma bond is real. That intermittent reinforcement that we get, otherwise known as breadcrumbs, keeps us hooked. I hear these stories every day, and I've got a ton of them myself, where it wasn't all bad. I can think of trips we went on. I can think of dates. I can think of gifts. I can think of time. I can think of love. It wasn't all bad. But guess what? Those breadcrumbs trains our nervous system. That's how deep it is. Trains our nervous system to cling to those moments, those highs. Remember, like a drug, those highs, we cling to those highs so that when we're in the lows, not getting those things, we hold on, cling to hope that those breadcrumbs are going to come soon after. So we're just going to stick it out. They're not talking to us. Okay, you want to give me the silent treatment? Fine. I know he'll come around in 2.5 days because that's his pattern. So, you're going to, have an anger outburst. Okay, I know this is going to last about 5 minutes and 29 seconds because that's his pattern. We get the pattern down packed. What we don't realize is this pattern is a trauma bond. It's a trauma bond. Because guess what? When it's good, How many of us are waiting for the other shoe to drop? How many of us are waiting for the anger outburst, the argument that ensues? How many of us are just saying, looking at our watches like, oh, it's been 3 good days. Here comes that 4th day. It's usually on the 4th day at about 4 o'clock when they come home from work, especially if it's on a Friday. Look, we have got it down packed. That's trauma. And we stay because of the trauma bond. We are bonded in trauma. Cognitive dissonance is another big one. I'm not even going to have time to get through all these today. We're going to have a part 2 next week. I hope you will come back next week. Cognitive dissonance is what I'm going to leave you with. The mind struggles to reconcile abuse because of the moments of love. To this day, I will always say he loved me. To this day. In his way, in his dysfunctional, sick way, he did love me. So imagine before I knew it was sick and dysfunctional, when I thought it really was love. Imagine the cognitive dissonance between he loves me, he's hurting me. He loves me, he hurts me. He loves me, he's hurting me. Constantly. How confusing is that? How utterly confusing is that? And so the confusion makes it hard for us to reconcile that this is abuse because of the moments of love. That's deep. It's all deep. It's all deep. But the bottom line is easier said than done. Easier said than done. Next week, I want to talk about how to cut the emotional leash. How to cut ties. How to cut that emotional leash. And I'm also creating a program that goes into great detail and walks you step by step by step. Please go to my website, The Passage to Peace. There's so much support that I want to give you. I'm here for you every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, but I'm here for you every day. Email me, info@thepassageToPeace. I'm on TikTok, hopefully going live on TikTok soon. The Passage to Peace. YouTube, Passage to Peace. I authored a book about my life that I hope will help somebody else called Groomed, Life Married to a Narcissist and How I Overcame Narcissistic Abuse. Working on my second book that's going to be even deeper and more insane than the first one because I'm going to get extremely vulnerable because I feel like it's my calling. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened to me if it wasn't meant for me to share it, to help someone else heal. My purpose, my mission in life is clear to me. So, if this resonates with you, are you still working on leaving emotionally? Go to my website, take a free quiz. Where are you in this healing journey? Where are you in this healing journey? What stage of healing are you in? I created the 5 stages of healing. It's called the PEACE method. P stands for the paradigm shift. We first have to change our mind. That's the first step. Hardest step is the first step. The second step is we have to establish safety. Emotional safety, mental safety. Boundaries on a whole nother level, because boundaries with a narcissist is different than any other relationship you have. The third stage is alchemy of wounds. Where does this come from? Because the narcissist didn't make us this way. We have 50% in the deal. What is your 50%? Where were your wounds created? And then there's courageous reclamation. Like, wait a minute. I'm not the problem. Wait a minute. I have a voice. Wait a minute. I can be who I want to be. Courageous reclamation. And then empowered freedom. Bam. Done. Gone. Bounce. See ya. Now, don't get me wrong. Because we are all emotional, empathetic, not emotional, empathetic. All humans are emotional. Empathetic. My feelings, they're all valid. And grief is complicated. So you have to be compassionate with yourself. But that empowered freedom is something else. And I'm living it today. Could not be happier. And I'm here for you to help you get there. It's a journey. I haven't arrived. I'm still on my journey, but I'm on my journey with you. I want you to be on your journey with me. Let me support you. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And remember, you're not the problem. You have the strength. You have the courage. It's just been layered. And guess what? We're peeling back the layers and getting to the core of who you really are, because it's still there. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you too next week, next Monday night. Go to my website. In between, there is support every day, all day. Facebook, TikTok. I'm actually enjoying TikTok because I get to have fun making fun of the narcissist and myself. I laugh at myself too. I crack myself up. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Bryant, good to see you. Tasha, good to see you. I'm so happy that y'all are here. Julia, good to see you. Hope to see you next week, you guys. Keep protecting your peace. Protect your peace. Thank you. Take care.